walking down the street, it's a beautiful day. Come on, let's visit Mrs. Kane and Miss Jane. They always have something fun to say on Porch Story today.
All right. Well, hello there. Hi. Good to see everyone. Oh, Miss Kane.
Yes.
I've missed you.
It's been a while.
It sure has. We hope you are all safe and happy. We're pretty safe and happy, aren't we, Miss Kane?
Oh, we always are when we get together.
That's it. But we still maintain our safe distance and we're outside in the fresh air. So we have a brand new book, but let's reintroduce ourselves just in case we have some new viewers today. I'm Miss Jane.
And I'm Mrs. Kane.
And this is Porch Stories. And we have a special book for you today and a lovely discussion. So let's get started, Miss Kane.
All right, but before we start the book, we do our mindful breathing.
Yes.
Because it helps us calm down.
I
And
love that.
That way you can kind of calm down and focus on listening to the story.
Wonderful.
So we're going to do a 3-breath mindful breathing exercise.
All
so
right.
Here we go.
That was lovely.
Thank
you.
Really nice.
I like how that centers and calms you. I'm going to take our little turquoise pillow, and I'm going to take this, and then I will trade, and I'm going to give you this, Mrs. Kane.
This is the story that we'll be sharing with you today by Javaka Steptoe, Radiant Child, the story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Wonderful. And since there's just one name on there, Miss Kane, does that mean that he is both the illustrator and the author?
He's the illustrator and the author.
So he did the words and the pictures. So that's a wonderful art job, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Wait, I know you want to open it, but I have some questions for you.
I know.
So what do we call the front of that again?
Oh, it's the front cover.
Wait, and the long part on the side?
On the long part on the side is the spine.
And what's the other side we didn't talk about yet?
The back cover.
There we go.
There you go. But this is a library book that we have in our library, the David Lubin Library. And when we have books in our library, it has the barcode so people can check it out.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
great.
it has the spine label on the spine.
Oh.
And this one has the number 921, which stands for biography.
Love
Because the
it.
biographies are in the 921s. And then it has BAS. And that's the first 3 letters of the person that this book is about. So his last name is Basquiat, so it's BAS. This is not an autobiography.
No.
He did not write this about himself. Someone else wrote it. But it is a true story about him.
Because he really did exist. He really was born. We're coming up on what would be his birthday, December 22nd, in fact,
Pretty soon.
1960.
1960.
So, Miss Kane, look at these shiny things. Tell us about those two, because those look very special. And
These-
I don't see those in a lot of books.
Nope. The Caldecott and the Coretta Scott King Awards they're awarded to one book a year. So it's a very, very prestigious award.
Oh, that is prestigious.
So the Caldecott Medal Award, and they call this the Medal Award, is for the illustrations in the book. And then the Coretta Scott King Award is for peace, nonviolent social change, and brotherhood.
Wow.
So
That is wonderful. So I just am going to give this like a round of applause for this awards. There we go. So let's get started. I'm excited.
So here's a picture. I think this is probably when he was a little bit older,
Like that.
right?
Looks like it to me.
About this book,
Oh, good. Okay. a little
like Jean-Michel Basquiat, so the author's writing this, I used bits of New York City to create the artwork for this book. I painted on richly textured pieces of found wood harvested from discarded Brooklyn Museum exhibit materials, the dumpsters of Brooklyn brownstones, and the streets of Greenwich Village.
That's a tongue twister, isn't it?
It's hard
Greenwich
for me.
Village.
Greenwich Village. And the Lower East Side. In this way, I invite my readers to create using the materials people and places in their environment.
Wow.
While they will not find reproductions of actual Basquiat artwork in Radiant Child, they will find my original pieces that were inspired by him and my interpretations of his paintings and his designs.
Miss Kane, I love that because our artists that are watching today, they might get inspired by this story and want to use things that are around their house to make art. So it's really about recycle, reuse, repurpose, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
We are big fans of that here. All right.
Somewhere in Brooklyn, between hearts that thump, double Dutch and hopscotch, and salty mouths that slurp sweet ice, a little boy dreams of being a famous artist.
Oh my goodness. So double Dutch, it's like when you're jumping rope, that kind of thing. Oh my gosh. I can just hear
It's the two jump ropes.
The two ropes together. That's right. And you have to try to run into there. That's tricky.
Let's see, they have it. He
Oh,
put it
they
in
do.
the drawing.
I love
He
it.
put it in the drawing there.
Perfect.
In his house, you can tell a serious artist dwells. As he sits at a table with pencils scattered everywhere, Jean-Michel draws from morning until night with a serious face amid a storm of papers. He refuses to sleep until he has created a masterpiece.
You know what? It's kind of like when you're working on a project, and it might be something like you might be writing something, you might be trying to do a song. Any creative process, sometimes it's hard to let go till you get it just right. You know, it's just hard.
At night, images enchant Jean-Michel's mind, and he wakes from his dreams to add one more line.
Oh boy.
His drawings are not neat or clean, nor does he color inside the lines. They are sloppy, ugly, and sometimes weird, but somehow still beautiful.
You know, I love that use of like ugly and outside the lines. Those are judgments that we put on images. But within those is a great beauty. And I think what makes his stuff so beautiful is his incredible confidence. You know, that confidence really is attractive.
His art comes from his mother, Matilda, a Puerto Rican woman who designs and sews, cooks and cleans, and makes the house look like a stylish magazine.
Oh, my goodness.
But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel on his father's old work papers.
Oh my goodness. So see, even as a little child, he was recycling and reusing materials, right?
His dad's old paper.
Yeah, so you might have some junk mail at your house that you could draw on and recycle, cereal boxes, all that kind of stuff.
From her, he learned that art is not only in the poetry books she reads to him or in the theaters and museums they visit. Art is the street games of little children, in our style and the words that we speak. It is how the messy patchwork of the city creates new meaning for ordinary things.
Oh my gosh, I love that. The use of the word patchwork. And you hear that a lot of times when people are doing quilting. They're putting together different fabrics to make one large piece.
While visiting the museum, they look at his favorite works of art, reading the stories behind each artist, reading the story behind each work. This is how Jean-Michel learns what it means to be a famous artist.
Now, when you share that picture, Miss Kane, I'm going to share a larger version of the image. So he went particularly to the Brooklyn Museum, and during that time, and he's still famous today, Pablo Picasso's works of art were very popular. He was still viewed as like the most important modern artist. And this is a print of the painting that he did called Guernica. And it was a reaction to war, and it's done in black, white, and gray. And it's very abstracted, but it still has human forms in it. In the image there, you saw that this actual painting is wall size. And one of the pieces that I really like is that this scene is lit by a bare bulb. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that it probably had a huge impact on the young Jean-Michel.
Back at home, he creates art on the floor. As his father, Gerard, plays jazz records, Mama Matilda cooks arroz con pollo and calls Jean-Michel mi amor.
Oh, my love,
Yes,
my love.
the energy and life of the city can be felt in each line of his drawings.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, when I've read about Jean-Michel, his father was Haitian. So he had, parents from two different cultural backgrounds living in Brooklyn.
As time goes by, Jean-Michel learns that art has a healing power.
Oh.
After a car accident, he is scared and confused, Matilda gives him a book to calm his fears. It is filled with pictures of bones, skulls, and other body parts. Jean-Michel draws from it until he knows it all by heart. He is no longer afraid.
Wow. Now, I want to take a couple things from this, Miss Kane, because we did a Porch story about the artist Frida Kahlo.
Yes, we did.
And if you've watched that, you might recall that Frida Kahlo, as a teenager, was hit in a bus trolley accident and suffered a horrible injury. Jean-Michel was hit by a car, broke his arm, and also suffered some internal injuries. So he was bedridden for quite some time. So the book that his mother gave him is Gray's Anatomy. And Gray's Anatomy is a large volume that shows all the workings of your body, everything from muscles to organs and particularly to bones. And I think sometimes when we don't know things, it's really scary.
Yes.
And then when we learn about them, they don't seem as scary, right?
Not as afraid.
And so I think for a young Jean-Michel, particularly being such a visual learner, to see those pictures, to realize, wait, we all have bones. Bones can heal and grow and get repaired. So taking care of your body, it's not so scary then.
Back at home, Jean-Michel's body heals, but his heart breaks.
Oh, no.
His mother's mind is not well.
Oh, no.
And the family breaks. She no longer lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel, but sits by the window, singing only to birds. Jean-Michel is confused and filled with a terrible blues when Matilda can no longer live at home.
So sometimes they refer to something like the blues as a kind of sadness. There's also a music, and it is American music, the blues. And it's in the family of jazz, and it really reflects a kind of poignant sadness. And Jean-Michel's mom had a break in her mind.
Yes.
So just like your arm can break, her mind had a break. But just like his arm, her mind could heal too. But it takes time.
He tries drawing the terrible out of his blues, but things are not the same.
And he's just a young kid, too.
Yep, he still is very young. As Jean-Michel grows older, he visits his mother when he can, always bringing his artwork to show, telling her that one day it will be in a museum when I am a famous artist.
He likes to say that, doesn't he? You know, and that's a way I think that he kind of connects with his mom. And also by saying, I'll be a famous artist, I think what he's saying is, Mom, I'll be able to take care of you, you know?
A teenager now, Jean-Michel decides, Papa, I will be very, very famous one day. With a sly look, a twinkle in his eye, Jean-Michel leaves Brooklyn for New York City.
Oh my gosh.
The Lower East Side, a concrete jungle where only the tough survive.
Now, Miss Kane, I think a lot of our art stories, we've noticed they go to New York City. They might not stay there, but it really is, particularly for Western art, a mecca of, I would say, almost like a school in itself.
Kind
you know
of
what
a center.
I mean?
A center.
Yeah. And you are with other people to support you to make your art. And so we had Georgia O'Keeffe went to New York City for a while. She didn't stay there. Yayoi went to New York City for a while. Keith Haring was there.
Did Frida go?
Frida actually went to New York City but never stayed.
Never stayed.
She lived in her country of Mexico and stayed there. But she went several times. Miss Kane asked about Frida Kahlo when Diego would have different commissions. And so I knew there were several times that she did go there.
During the day, dressed in a green jumpsuit splattered with paint, Jean-Michel stays with friends, sleeping on couches and floors, leaving a barrage of collages and poem-filled papers everywhere he goes.
So he was the kind of artist that he would do drawings, he would do collage, he would do spoken word. He also, Miss Kane, had a band. His very first band that he had, he named after the Gray's Anatomy book called Gray.
Gray?
That was his first band, which I love. You know, a little tribute to his mom.
At night, Jean-Michel spray paints the walls downtown with poems and drawings that catch the eye of artists, gallery goers, and passerbys. Under his art, he signs the name Samo, right?
I don't know. I think they call it Samo.
Samo.
Yeah, same old stuff.
Instead of Jean-Michel. Everybody wants to know, who is Samo?
It's the same old.
Samo.
And graffiti art at the time was practically an unknown art form in galleries, making money. It was the art of the street for the people. Now, sometimes it was viewed as vandalism, but there was a crossover happening. So we're talking about a time period, late 70s, early 80s, where things are transitioning from street to gallery.
Samo moves from street corners to art gallery walls with powerful color composition and line. Ooh, did you write this book?
I didn't, but
collaging and painting on anything he can find. His art is still not neat or clean, and definitely not inside the lines, but somehow still beautiful.
See, and when I sometimes joke about coloring outside the box, and that is a phrase used to sort of think differently. And he used a lot of crown images and a lot of skull images in his artwork. And we're going to be seeing some of that coming up soon.
With his magical charm, Jean-Michel draws a crowd. But when it's time to work, he prefers to be alone, with the radio and TV on full blast.
Oh my gosh, that would make me crazy.
Now in expensive suits, splattered with paint, he flips through stacks of magazines and open books and paints into the night, and sometimes for days at a time, while sounds and images jump into his head.
You know, and it might be that music and television was like reinforcing the noise of the streets, you know, that kind of energizes him.
Jean-Michel, an artist among artists, never doubts one line, creating from a soundtrack that is all his own. People describe him as radiant, wild, a genius child. But in his heart, he is king, so he draws crowns for himself and others he admires.
And they talk about like the three-pointed crown. It's a very simple shape, you know, and there's a lot of different information on the internet you can look up that talk about what the symbolism of that is, but to make something royal, special.
A grown man now, with the art world in his hands, Jean-Michel still visits his mother when he can. And at his most important shows, above all the critics, fans, and artists he admires, the place of honor is his mother's.
Aww.
Queen on a throne. He is now a famous artist.
Queen on a throne. What a sweet boy to honor his mom like that too, right?
Yes, he loved her dearly.
He totally did. And what I really like on this is how Jean-Michel just kept working, because the art he was creating at the time wasn't what you saw typically in galleries. Now I have this piece up here of Andy Warhol's artwork, who was already a pretty famous artist by the time that Jean-Michel came onto the scene, and they actually became really good friends. And Jean-Michel kind of looked to Mr. Warhol as sort of being a mentor, and they were able to sort of play off of each other and really say, oh, you're inspiring me, no, you're inspiring me. And they had art shows together. And you know how we did the Porch story of Keith Haring?
Yes.
About the young man who did the graffiti figures in the subway? He was also friends with Jean-Michel Basquiat. So it's like when we talked about New York, right?
The artist circle,
the
right?
The art circle. It goes around and around. So that's why I have this picture by Andy Warhol here, because he was an inspiration to our young Basquiat. So was Pablo Picasso. But I really feel like Jean-Michel was truly, though, his own person. You know, sadly, Miss Kane, he passed away at 27. So I think about him now, because he would be my age coming up. What would he have
Such
created?
a young guy.
What would he have created today, though, where we have all of this technology, because he was already so ahead of his time. And so I want all of my artists out there to feel like you don't have to have special fancy paper. You can have recycled things and make great art from that. But really what Jean-Michel did was practice, practice, practice.
Yes,
what you
he
say?
did. And if you want to become good at anything,
I agree.
you need to practice.
And you know what? I like that people say, oh, I'm wishing. You can have a wishbone, but make it happen by having a backbone. Okay?
Oh, I like that.
There we go. Well, on that note, Miss Kane, I know we're going to have another fabulous story coming up.
Yes, we
and
are.
If students want this, it is at our David Lubin Library.
Yes.
And if you're not at David Lubin School, check with your local library. See if they've got it, because it's a double award-winning book. I bet.
It's a double award, and we didn't go into all of the stuff that they have, but there's more in the back about
my gosh, look at
Jean-Michel Basquiat, and it talks about the symbolism and a note from the author-illustrator.
I love
So,
it. There's a lot more stuff that you can learn, right?
Yes.
Now, some people might say, oh, his artwork, it's a little controversial for young children to look at. And my thought on that is it might be, some of the images might be a little disturbing and you might not have context to put in it. So have an adult with you to talk about it. Here in Sacramento, we have a wonderful local artist, and his name is Milton Bowens. And Milton Bowens works with imagery that is both historically based, he uses collage, and in some of his pictures, he even incorporates having a crown. But what I really like is a lot of times he'll have pieces of lace from his grandmother, because he...
In his artwork.
In his artwork, because he loves his grandma, right?
Of course.
So we hope that you are all staying safe. We want you to know that Miss Kane and I love you.
Yes.
We believe in you, and we will see you. Don't you think we'll see him soon?
I am hoping.
I am. For more Porch stories. All right, my friends.
Bye.
Be
We'll
safe.
see you soon.
Yes.
Take care.